Okay, today we're going to talk about union queries. Now, first thing we're going to do is describe the students table that we have. We've got things like ID, F name, hometown, semesters, and major. Major is, of course, an enum, CS, CIS, and other. But I want to point out a couple of things here. In particular, semesters, that's both sides of it. Now, I've also got another table here called old students. It's the same thing, although semester has no S at the end. It's just one word, semester, not plural. Other than that, they're the same. Now, as it turns out, the count of students is 31. The count of old students 24. Just taking a look at that. And I can do things just for review, like select distinct hometown from old students. So these are the various towns that the students were from that semester. And I can do things like select ID from students. I did limit 4 just so we could see this in the same screen. Select ID from old students, limit 4. And what you notice, of course, is they have the same ID number. So if I want to combine these in what's called command, I'd have a problem because the IDs are the same. Now there are a couple of ways to getting around that problem. One example would be to add a string. Now I could add a string like A or B, or I could do an N for new student and an O for old student, but what I did first was select concat, and I have the number 10, although in quotes, so it's really the character 10, comma ID, so it's going to concat those two as new ID from old students, limit 4. Well, that will give a 1, 102, 103, 104, and another way I could have done is select ID plus 100, because of course ID is an integer, so ID plus 100 as new ID from old students. Both those, you notice, give me the same results, 101 to 104. However, if I had done that not for limit 4, but let's say 12, you'll notice that select concat of the character 10 comma ID, I'm going to get 101 to 109, but then I have 1010 and 1011, so that just would be putting the characters 10 in front of the ID. So what we'll do is we'll use the ID plus 100. Now, because I have two differently named fields, semester and semesters, I'm going to rename them both SEM, S-E-M. So as you hear, I have select semester as SEM from old students, or select semesters as SEM from students. So what we're actually going to do here is let's take a look at that now. Select ID plus 100 as student ID. I'm going to give it a different name. Semester as SEM, F name, hometown, major, from old students. I did a limit 10 just so we could see what it looks like here, and that looks like it's going to work for me. What I actually want to do is take a command like that and union it with another command. So select ID plus 100 as student ID for old students, and after I finish that select statement, I just add the word union, and then I have a very similar select statement, slight difference being now I put ID plus 200 as student ID for the new students. So they're all going to be given with the number 200. And semesters as SEM. So it's going to have a field called student ID, of which the old students are in the 100s and the new students are in the 200s. They both have a field called SEM. They both have a field called F name, hometown, and major. And I'm going to union them together. So when I do that, I end up with my 55 students all showing up in the list. Now I'll take that one further, and I'm going to say create a view all students as, and then all that same command I already typed. That way, instead of having to retype it over and over again, I now have a view called all students, and it contains all 55 of those students. So then I can just do simple things like select hometown, comma, count as num from all students, grouped by hometown. So I can see which hometowns were the most popular. I notice Amsterdam was 13, Gloversville 9, that kind of stuff. I could even take a look at just the F name and the major for all students where hometown equals Gloversville. Typical things we've been doing for weeks. But I'm going to add one more thing. So in fact, I'm going to drop the view all students, get rid of it, and I'm going to recreate it. But one of the things I wanted to do is on the first select statement, I'm adding a 2013 fall as the semester. And in the second select statement, I'm adding 2014 spring as the semester. I'm actually creating a new field called the semester, and what it does is for the former students that were in the fall of 2013, that list is going to have the data will say 2013 fall, and for the new students it would be 2014 spring. Now when I can look at those Gloversville students, I can also see which ones are from the 2013 fall and which ones are from 2014 spring. And of course I can do lots of other things that I've done before, like grouping by major to see CIS had 20 majors and CS had 28 majors as an example when I group by major. But what if I say, hey, let's select the semester major and count as num from all students, but I'm not going to group by major, I'm going to group by the semester comma major. So then it takes all the fall and looks at them. Then it takes all the spring and looks at them grouped. So we how it breaks down.